Thank you for joining Vancouver Bitcoiners. Please enjoy our next guest speaker. Thank you to our sponsors, Adaptec Group, Canada's premier event-driven development company, and Bull Bitcoin, Canada's premier Bitcoin company since 2013.
JV55. Will here is creating shit that doesn't require all of it, right? Like, I think that was the premise behind this, was creating these open source things that didn't. Do you want to just say a little about what you developed?
It actually, the only reason I actually got this reward is because I randomly found a website. I think NVK made this website. I randomly was like, oh, this is like a cool website that you put together. And I was like, oh, lightning tip jar for like 1 Bitcoin. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Like, what's a lightning tip jar? I think I made one of those. Like, what is that about? And they're just like, oh, FOSS wallet that integrates Bolt 12. I'm like, oh shit, I already did that. So this is like, the demo of this is on my website.
So you came across this when you had already solved it.
Yeah, I've already solved the problem.
And be like, I'm going to work on this problem.
I'm pretty sure.
You were just like, oh, I've done this.
I'm pretty sure I did this already. So this is an example of it. So this one, this is just a very simple Bolt 12 tip jar. And if you have a C Lightning wallet, you can scan it. I don't even know if this works anymore because like Bolt 12 is like, it's currently being changed.
What wallets?
But what's cool about this is that in the browser, I mean, I've talked about this before here, but this connects directly to my C Lightning node at my house without any intermediaries. So this just uses over the Lightning network. So this, I don't have a web server at my house. This is actually talking over Lightning. I guess it's Bolt 12, so it's like, unless you have like a core Lightning wallet.
Invalid.
No, but this was the point of this tip jar is like, you know, we're just trying to make it like, we're not using L and URL, we're just using pure Lightning. So in theory, you don't even have to run a web server if you're like, so I think the point, I think this was actually run by the Human Rights Foundation. So you see Alex Gladstein is actually.
Yeah, it was from Opensats.
So this is they sent me the money. Like I talked to like the people from there, and it took a while because it's like they had like this huge multi-sig setup. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm actually I was pretty impressed by their. So I wasn't even upset that it took so long because it's just like they have their very secure setup. So I was impressed by that. But it's just fucking cool that like these people from around the world, they were in like Thailand at the time. They're like, yeah, we'll send you like a Bitcoin. I'm like, this is the power of Bitcoin. It's like. Someone can just send you $20,000 over the internet
and pay you for something that you had already developed.
I'm like,
for shits and giggles.
So now I'm like, oh, maybe I should probably pay attention to this stuff more often.
Yeah, man.
But I think that I don't know if they're all dev focused. I don't know. Maybe there are a lot of them dev focused. But if look at design and privacy, look at design. So if anyone's design focused, they might want to dark mode for a Bitcoin wallet. Like there's actually some non-programming stuff. So if you're a designer, you want to get in on some of this stuff. This is 5 Bitcoin. What is this? Find a bug. Shit, Jeremy. I'm gonna take that one out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start fuzzing your stuff, Jeremy. Watch out. Yeah, so it's a really cool website. I highly recommend it. There's actually not that many bounties up here, so it's surprising. This probably should be updated because this has already been taken.
Probably.
I don't know anything else more to say about this, but
well, congrats.
Bounties are. I actually did not expect. I submitted this thing like 5 months ago or something, and I'm like, I didn't expect to hear back. But super props to them for actually doing, following through. But yeah, bounties. I don't know. Where were we?
Back?
Yeah, I have something to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is when you brought up that thing on the screen and you pointed at him, it was one of those moments when I associated a face to a.
When you were like, oh,
okay.
that's who that is.
I follow you.
Yeah.
I tried to use that lightning.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's
setup
garbage.
ago,
I need to make it better, but.
Yeah. Any complaints you have on that setup, just go and.
And I probably have 4 users. You're like one of my users.
Okay, I checked.
So if you like anything you run into issue wise, I'm happy to like fix them when they come up.
Got it.
That was cool.
Unless you want to continue.
I don't know what this is. Do
you know one of one multi? I was slightly confused by this. I guess someone's been going around doing these weird one of one
Let's
things.
investigate. Oh yeah, I've actually noticed this too.
Okay, please talk about it because I was just confused as I read through this. It was too devy for me.
Yeah, so we have this opcode in Bitcoin Core. This has been like since like really early on. This is probably like 2011. Check multisig. It's pretty cool. You just push some stuff on the stack. It just says, usually you'd push more than one pub key on the stack though. Usually it's like, hey, you want to push like multiple keys, multisig, but like one, why would you do one of one multisig? That makes no sense. It basically just, you should have just used a pub key at that point. So I don't know. I think the idea here is that, You know, some people notice that there's someone's doing a 1-a-month multisig on the blockchain, which is just ridiculous. So my theory is it's probably just software that's just stupid.
So here's the thing, though. If you read some of the chain on this, someone's followed this. There were a couple other like these comments. Someone's been doing this for 7 years, and it's like these similar ones that someone's been tracking. So like it's just weird shit.
It's just sometimes it's you get that weird, you get that, like, for instance, imagine if you were building like nunchuck.io. So have you ever heard of nunchuck? So it's like this like multi-sig wallet, and like imagine you build this, you know, this whole software product around multi-sig, and you don't even support single sig.
Yeah.
But then you have this like weird guy come along. He's like, well, I don't have any friends right now, so can I just use your app anyway?
And do what it wants.
So it's like that's an example where like sometimes it's like these things are not that weird in the case of software.
It was just strange because I think they said like the last transaction was like 30 Bitcoin that they transferred using this. So it's like it's not small amounts where you're like they're just testing some stuff. It's
but
it's.
But this is what I kind of like about Bitcoin is like, you know, we have this little programming language in here. It's just like a scripting language. And the way that it works, and it's just a stack. So it's like, this says push num1. All this does is puts a number in a list. And this one says, oh, put another number on the list, which is like this huge pub key. And then put another number on the list. So at this point, there's 3 numbers. There's 1 pub key and a 1. So this is telling this opcode, it's like, this opcode consumes 3 arguments, which is like, a number, the pub key, and the number, so it knows what to do. So normally, if this would be like you push 1, and then you push 2 pub keys, and then push 2, so you know it's a 1 of 2 spend, and then that's how Bitcoin knows that it's a multisig and like how to deal with it, because you could do like push 2 of 2 with 2 keys, and then it'd be a 2 of 2 multisig. Anyway, so I just love this idea, like this really simple, and this is another one of these things that Satoshi came up with, which is like completely genius. It was so simple. Like, you could have done something really complicated. You could have been like, let's implement a JavaScript interpreter in our Bitcoin core node. And it would have been horrible, and like everyone would laugh at it. But he or she or CIA came up with this amazing, amazing, really simple system for like programming a blockchain. A lot of people come like, oh, it's too simple. It doesn't do enough. It's not powerful enough. I can't implement like the world financial market on it. I'm like, well, yeah, good. Because that would be a huge pain in the ass to deal with that in our blockchain. So anyway, that was a side tangent on Bitcoin script. Really cool. Anyway, that's all I want to say about that.
This isn't directly related to Bitcoin yet, but I swear it's going to have Lightning in it soon. But I just added a new, I created a new Nostr client. So if you want to try Nostr, I made it even easier if you don't have an iPhone.
Yes.
I have this new client.
Really annoyed by your iPhone only.
I know that I heard your feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really appreciate
And
it.
I made a web client, and I'm actually liking it more than my iOS app. So it's actually cool. You can actually log in with your Net05 identifier. So just put in this. It'll look up my pub key. This is what it looks like. Again, we're trying to like build a decentralized. Oh, here's my post I did recently. Me sending messages over Nostr over ham radio after this collapse of civilization. Anyway, so it's like this is just like a little decentralized social media network that we're building. I'm gonna add Lightning tipping soon, so you can I can like reply. I actually can't reply it. I'm only logged in with my pub key, or you can try to reply. But it's actually kind of cool because you can send private. Yeah, I'm private. But it's cool because you can actually log in as anyone and see the time. So this is a cool feature that Twitter's. So yeah, so this is what Lightning looks like. And you can, so yeah, I'm gonna have Lightning tipping. You click the button. It's gonna you can send bitcoins. So I'm working on it.
Which chain are you writing the data?
So it's not using any chain. It's using something called the Nostr protocol, which is not a blockchain. It's just a database. And we it's an open protocol, so a lot of Bitcoiners are starting to use it, and we're starting to build stuff on top of it. We're gonna add Lightning tipping soon. Swear to God, I've been saying that for a while, but I realize we'll probably need Bolt 12, and I do want to do a talk about why we might need Bolt 12 to put Lightning tipping into Nostr. So Bolt 12 has this really cool feature called I think we talked about Bolt 12 before. I don't know how many people are familiar with it, but it's like a new invoicing system for Lightning. So right now we have Bolt 11, which is very simple, but Bolt 12 is going to add one new feature which I actually do need, and it's called payer signatures or payer secrets. So basically, with right now, for you to, if you want to request an invoice on the Lightning Network, really the only way to do it is right now is through Allen Euro. That's what most people use. But Bolt 12 is trying to basically do that over Lightning itself, so you don't need to use the web. But they're actually adding a really cool feature called a payer signature, a payer secret, where as a payer, like as my node, as my phone, I can actually generate a local secret while I request an invoice, and that is embedded into the invoice, Bolt 12 invoice to get back. So basically, it says, hey, if I actually pay that invoice, I can actually prove that I paid it, regardless, like, because you can kind of do that now with the pre-image, but the pre-image gets leaked and it's not a proof of payment. But this is like we're actually adding proof of payment into the invoice. So this will be really useful in here because I can say like, hey, I actually paid this invoice, and I can prove it to the network, and I can actually display that I paid this person. But I can't really do that right now with Bolt 11. So anyway, so that's why it's not in yet. I'm waiting for Bolt 12. Hopefully, it gets in spec soon. It's very close, but once we have Bolt 12, we'll be able to add Lightning tipping to this centralized social media network. So this is what I've been working on.
How much harder would it be to make it capable of streaming satoshis as opposed to just one-time invoicing?
Yeah, I mean, so the way you would stream invoice, like in terms of like Bolt 12 or anything.
So
Yeah, I mean, like how you would stream it. So you could just do send. Like it's not really stacked. It's a Spark. It's not a Bolt. But if you're just doing it through Bolt 12, you would just say, hey, you just request invoices over and over, and then you just pay them. That's a completely fine way of doing it. Anyway, so yeah, this is all I had to share today. Try it out, damus.io/web.
A big thank you to Vancouver Bitcoiners executive crew. This would not happen without all of you. And finally, big thank you to Murdoch Media for producing all of these episodes.